What's going on, traders? Happy end of the month. I hope everybody had a profitable month this May. It is the 31st today, and I hope that these videos and updates have helped you um, navigate the markets. And don't forget, if you are enjoying this content, if they have helped you, please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications, and if you'd be so kind to give the video a thumbs up, that really helps the algorithms and helps grow the channel as well. One other thing I wanted to mention, I'm happy to announce it's something I've been thinking about doing some more one-on-ones with traders. And I finally set up a Calendarly where you guys can pay for it and book sessions, either one-on-one or a package of 3. I've added it into my Linktree. The link to that is in the description. So if that's something you're interested in, certainly check it out. And you can see the availability and sign up if you'd like to work with me a little bit one-on-one. All right, so with that being said, lastly, this video, of course, is for educational and entertainment purposes only. So let's get into it. All right, so we're looking at the spider here, S&P 500, of course, and markets were down today, negative 0.55%. Final print was 417.85. And we were talking in the yesterday's video, I was leaning a bit more bearish. We were talking about the retracement still being needed. We're still outside of value now, right? And we did mention this potential idea yesterday for some longs. It was supported. We had the markets gap down, and then they came right into value area high, which had that confluence here with the 9-period moving average. And we did see some buyers come up, but we will get a little bit more into the intraday price action in a moment. But we still now have a gap here, which was not filled, but we are above a value, so it's a very tricky spot. We could see some consolidation as well, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But still, bulls are firmly in control, regardless of the value, and so far the buy the dip theme, even though we did come down and gap down, is holding up. For now, at least. We were also looking at, the top of the megaphone channel, and we definitely saw the seller reaction here. Now, this is exactly kind of the pattern that we were talking about, and you can almost see we were talking about deja vu, right? And we'll go into the intraday fibs a little bit in a moment, but it's looking very similar, right, to here. Right, we came up, hit the top of the megaphone. We came back down. This sell reaction was a bit stronger, right? This one we're seeing the buyers come in a lot better, and let's see what happens tomorrow. But we basically also here we came into that broader consolidation. We tapped the top of it. And that's also where we saw the buyers come in, right around that $16 area. Okay, what was the low today? It was $16.22. So we didn't quite get there, but very close. Nice risk to reward for a long at that point. Yeah, so that was nice. The one other thing I do want to mention, and it is on futures, where also the bounce came in today. All right, so you saw the example on the other chart, you saw the example here on this chart, but something I want to point out on futures and why it's also so important to make sure you're looking at the macro, and what's going on, and be able to have a plan. Let's look at the macro trend lines here on the futures chart for a second. It's going to be a little hard to see like that. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit more. All right, this one's a little better. Okay, so we came down here, right? Downtrend, downtrend, downtrend. This break here gave us that big squeeze, right? You can see the channel. This is where we bounced from before. and we came simply back to retest, and this is where we actually saw that buyer reaction. I did get short. I missed the morning move, and I got short a little bit earlier in the day. I did get stopped out of that position, and then I flipped long. You can see here how we kind of broke that trend line, and I got short when we came back up to retest it, right? I think it was around here. It might have been actually around here. I don't think it was, but I'll have to look back. But I was waiting. I missed this move, and I was just waiting to see. We were underneath the key fib, the 23.6, which we'll pull up here in a moment on the SPY. But you can see here how we couldn't really. They kept trying to push it down, push it down, push it down. Couldn't really get. And then right here we recaptured. And then once we totally recaptured here around 12:30, the long was in order. And this is pretty much where I had flipped long, right around 41. 83, I believe, and then we pretty much ran our last little bit of runners up into the 4200 back test, and that was a nice trade and put me back green on the day. But understanding the macro is huge, and now you can see where this is coming from, and just the simple retest of the trend line and then back up. And I mean, it was pretty much the similar thing down here when we sold off before, right? So right now the bulls, they tried to close over this trend line, but we couldn't actually close over. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But immediately as far as tomorrow is concerned, is the bulls are going to need to get back over this, pretty much this 4200, and start to build up some base there, and then we can start to look again for higher prices. Maybe come, it's not that far, but at least the point of control here, which we did hit, I believe, was it the high of 4? No, we didn't quite get there, but pretty close. So we'll have to see how tomorrow develops. But it is a short week, so let's keep that in mind. And first day of the week, so we want to make sure that we just get everything started off on the right foot. All right, so back to the ETF here. Let's go into the fibs that we were watching, right? I think it was here. Okay. So we had sold off. We were talking a little bit yesterday in the video that we really needed to recapture and hold 420, and to be able to have any moves and chance to get up higher today. And they tried, but they were unable to get back over, and then we kind of just puttered down, and Globex came back up and then just really sunk down, right? And we were talking about once this 418.83, excuse me, I'm in futures mode there, 418.43. Once that broke, we were likely to see some more selling. I was projecting that we would actually come down into the 38.2 extension, but they did not get there. It is worth noting, besides that trend line, right, if we're looking for confluence, and it's always great to have multiple reasons to get into a trade, but here's a good example. Okay, we had the trend line retest here on ES, and if you were trading futures, if we go into the fibs, we actually did pull back into the 38.2 here, right around 41.74, right, and that was pretty much the low of the day, to a T. I think, let's see here, 41.74. Yeah, so look at that. I mean, came down, certainly was bear flagging, but that's why levels and stuff like this are more important than patterns, because it gives you some type of an idea of are we bullish, are we bearish, and things like that. So we could really start getting bearish once we start breaking under that 38.2. But beautiful move here right into that fib, and then boom, right back up. So that is a nice confluence trade there, besides the back test of this trend line. I don't have it on this chart, but there it is. So that's worth noting. All right. So we didn't quite get there. I was looking for it, and I remember in last video what we were also talking about, right? That if we did sell down and come down into this area, still overall structurally, right? The low, higher low, now higher low. So, you know, we haven't really broken this bigger structure from these last Wednesday lows. Now, certainly, of course, you can make the argument here that we have created a new trend, and that's very fair and valid, right? So we can definitely say this. It's pretty steep. But we do have this mini trend here inside of this trend. Okay, but let's see, because we do have volume point of control here. Want to start to see some closes over this 418. That would have been really important to see, but we did not get it. Looks like they are trying to push it back over here in after hours. But let me get these trend lines off of this chart really quickly. So those are two ways you can look at the trends, though, for sure. But I'm just looking, a little bit more macro-based as far as this is concerned. So it definitely is promising for the bulls that we did not come down into the 38.2. Maybe we do tomorrow. It's very possible we come up, try to get back over. This is going to be key, getting back over that 23. That's going to be the first thing that we want to see for that move up higher. And then if you also look, pretty much where we stopped today is pretty much at yesterday's lows, right? Here's the lows and pretty much where we had stopped. And you can see the reaction here as well, right? So, that's just normal price action coming up, retesting, lows or highs of another previous day. And then, we either see a reaction. And it was quite a reaction too, right? We tried to get over this hourly 20, couldn't confirm, and pushed back down. It's kind of a weird close. Apple just hit a huge red candle, and Tesla had a huge green candle right at the close. And of course, that Apple cell has more weight, so it kind of pushed us back down. I think everybody was kind of targeting. I think this was 4220. 4200 on ES, and it looks like we got slightly over it, but it looks like it was pretty much everyone's target, because everyone just started getting out of their position right there. So what are we going to look for in tomorrow, right? All right, let's just go. So let's remember that 418, we'll call it 50, 45 if you want. Okay. Now, what we have to consider now is basically the range now that we are trading in, right? And it kind of makes it a little bit easier in the sense that, all right, now we know for a more clear sign whether we are bullish or bearish. So right now, this is the range, right? Yesterday's lows, which we couldn't get over, and today's swing low. So for me, that's really what I'm going to be paying attention to. If the bulls are able to get back over 418, really the lows here, so 97, but as I was saying before, that 23.6 extension is going to be important. 418, 40, that would be the first glimmer of hope. But really, if we're holding now this base, right, this let me get this out here just for now. Now what I'm going to be watching for also to help kind of guide me is this base here that this is when we invalidated the bear flag, the hourly bear flag, and the structure of the market changed. Okay, so I'm going to be watching this area. You can see right now we're coming in to retest, and when we came in here, definitely a nice little long area. But this is the structure I'm going to be watching. Once we start to get in here in this area and start to break below, okay, I'm going to be getting a little bit more bearish overall, and so I guess that's going to be under, let's call it 416, 85, 75, somewhere in that zone. Then probably be looking to see if we can take out this 416. If we can take out that 416, then really 416 to 415.61. That's the 38.2. So if we break under that, all right, I'd be pretty confident, and as long as we close under, that we're going to see some more selling, and that will be my bear plan, probably down to 413 area. Back down to these value area lows here, somewhere in this 414, 413.40 zone. That's going to be the 50% retracement down here, right? So start getting under here and breaking down. We'll be looking for this target. Come on. Come on. Be looking for, somewhere in this general area, right? That would be my bear plan and target. Once we start breaking down, it will come down. Okay. Now, what about for the bulls, right? The bulls are going to need to recapture yesterday's lows. So we really can say, taking out, probably this pre-market, you could really, that coming over the 418, now the 418.43, okay, that's what we were talking about before. Definitely recapturing this point of control on the hourly, but getting over today's highs, right, of the range, and over yesterday's lows. So you really, if you want to be the most confirmation, it's gonna have to get over here, right? So 418, 419, 419, 60, 50 area. Getting over here, okay, then we can start to look for drifts back over 420, and we just take it level to level from here, right? This would probably be the immediate target, the value area high, and then see if we can't get a little bit more above it. It could break above and then hold for a little bit and then get pushed back inside the value area. That's very possible as well. So the risk to reward is a little iffy. Let's just take a look at the 4-hour chart really quick so I can see where the structure is. All right, so value area here is, it's not the best. Not that much room up to go, but it could of course stay extended from that, so that's not out of the realm of possibilities. But yeah, so over the 419, certainly over 419, 50, 60 area, and we'll be looking up just level to level, right? 420, 50s, value area high, 425, 50 to 60, then coming up to here to 421 zone, right? 421.75, and then ultimately back up into 422, and so on and so forth. So those are pretty much my plans. I hope everybody again had a great day, and I wish everybody a fantastic June. If you had a rough May, certainly consider signing up with me, doing some one-on-ones. Would love to help you. Would love to review some of your trades and see where you're struggling, and see if I can't help you get on the right path. Otherwise, make sure that you have plans every time, your exit plan. If the trade goes against you, your take profit plan, general idea as far as those are concerned. So that way you have a roadmap and you know what to do before you get in your trades, and you are not lost, in the weeds with your emotions, because that's always when the worst things happen to your account. All right, take care. I hope this helps, and have a good one.